Yes, sir. Before this, a COA class was there. Sorry, sir. Operating system.
Operating system. In operating system, what you are learning? Which operating
Sir,
system you are
Unix.
learning? Which operating
MS
system?
DOS.
MS DOS. Why MS DOS? Why MS DOS? That is very backdated operating system. You should learn Unix, Linux like that. And that
Yes,
type.
sir.
Beside that, very hot topics of operating system that is known as Android, that is working in mobile. You should learn that type of operating system. Okay. You should upgrade that syllabus. Tell them, tell me. Are you learning from the classification of the operating systems? How many operating system till now you know by names? Tell me.
Sir, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Unix, like Debian-based Linux and Snap-based.
Okay. So that iOS or Android, these are operating system or not? What would you think?
Yes, sir.
You
These are operating system, but sir, they are derived from some like Android is Linux based like that. So they are derived from something.
so you are learning now MS DOS. That is in your syllabus of
Yes, sir.
operating
In
system.
lab. In lab, sir.
Okay, that is not our topics. Just simply discussion it on. Okay. So from today and on, we will discuss some iteration method. Only two techniques we will learn here. With the help of these techniques, also we can able to solve system of linear equation. How it will be solvable. Okay. That screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
So what I have written, that is visible clearly.
Yes, sir.
This discussion or illustration I have shown here, actually basically three equation I have taken here. These three equations, and three are known: x1, x2, x3. Sometimes in the question or book you will get that unknown variables will be, if three equations are there in terms of x, y, z. In that way also it will be given to you. Three equation, three unknown. Okay. But process of discussion is generalized. Actually, this technique is applicable for n number of equation also. Okay. By taking three example, but you should learn this process for the n number of equation. Now, suppose you do have first equation, second equation, and third equation. In every equation, corresponding variables coefficient in this system. Suppose first equation, first variable coefficient a11, second variable coefficient a22, third equation, third variable coefficient a33. These elements are known as the pivot elements. Okay. These elements are known as pivots. Pivot, this is also pivot, this is also pivot. Okay. Now, to use these techniques, you have to see this condition. In first equation, first variable coefficient, its new absolute value. Whatever that is positive or negative, you don't bother about this. Its numerical value or absolute value should be greater than the absolute value sum of the remaining coefficients in first equation. In second equation's pivot element means second variable coefficient will be the greater than equals to sum of the remaining variables coefficient. These two variables are these two variables. In third equation, this is will be greater than these two. means absolute value only. And this is greater than equals to, among them, these are inequality. So for 3 equation, 3 inequality you got here, at least one inequality should be strictly greater. You understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In any system is given to you and this rearrangement is not suppose done, and you just see and watch after doing some rearrangement, is it possible to do or not? That is, you have to watch. If it is possible, then you just try to rearrange in that way such that these conditions will be satisfied. And that process is known as the partial pivoting, such that it will converge after doing some iteration. And that is why these conditions is known as sufficient condition of convergence for this technique. These techniques will, if it is possible to rearrange, you just rearrange and then apply these techniques. Surely you will get, after doing some iteration, this solution. And that technique I am telling you sufficient. It is not necessary. Means if this is not satisfied, beside that also you are using these techniques, maybe sometimes you will get solution or maybe you will not get. But if this is possible, then surely you will get the solution.
Sir, what is meant by sir strictly greater, like greater than or greater than equal to both conditions?
In both conditions, you have to see in first equation, first variable coefficient, that is this. That is the pivot. In second equation, second variable coefficient, that is the pivot. Third equation, third variable coefficient, that is the pivot. So these pivots element will be the greater, will be the sum of the remaining coefficients. And everywhere these coefficients you have to consider absolute value. Okay. So this will be greater than the sum of these two. This will be greater than sum of these two. This will be greater than sum of these two. Okay, that 3 equation for inequalities I have written here.
So that can be also equal to the sum of the both.
Equal or greater, but
Okay.
at least,
Yes, sir.
suppose in this equation you are getting 3 inequality, at least one equality should be strict. One equality should be strict like that. Okay. 2 may be equals. These 2 may be equal or greater, equal, whatever. At least one will be strictly greater. That is I have written here.
Okay, sir.
And if this type of things is not happening, means sufficient condition is not converged. Beside that, also you are using this method, maybe you will not get solution or maybe you will get solution. That is not sure. But if you just see and watch, if after doing some rearrangement, this condition is satisfying, then obviously you will get the solution after doing some iteration. So try to do that rearrangement such that surely you will get the solution after doing some iteration. Up to that much clear theoretical importance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the process of doing this, how to build the formula from this equation. In the first equation, can you able to write x1? From the first equation x1, from the second equation x2, from the third equation x3. That variables you just write left hand side. From the first equation x1 you just represent remaining all terms right hand side. So express from the first equation x1 and bring all the terms right hand side. Keep x1 variable left hand side. Okay. So what it will be looks like, x1 left hand side, right hand side p1 minus this term, and you just divide this coefficient. Isn't it? It will be looks like this. Okay.
Yes.
What will be the x2?
So can you please explain this once more?
From the first equation, first variable replace express first variable by the remaining all the terms. जैसे फर्स्ट इक्वेशन है, इसमें x1 को लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में रखो, रिमेनिंग टर्म राइट हैंड साइड ले जाओ. Okay, you just try to understand from the second equation. If I will keep x2 left hand side and bringing all the term right hand side, so right hand side you do have b2. I am subtracting b2 from b2 minus this term and this term, b2 minus a21 x1 minus a23 x3, and I am dividing this coefficient. So 1 by a22. Okay. So similarly from the third equation, x3 you just replace and bring all the terms right hand side. It will be 1 by a33 b3 minus a31 x1 a32 x2. Isn't it? Actually this is the formula. You have to use this formula or scheme to calculate step by step iteration or nothing else. Before that, whatever I told you, these are the condition of convergence or what is the importance of these techniques. If these conditions is not satisfied, you may not apply sometimes. But since this is the sufficient condition, if this condition is not satisfied, means it is not sure that you are using this technique that you will get the solution. But if it is satisfied, obviously you will get the solution. And that is why it is sufficient and not telling this condition is necessary. After rearranging these equations in this way, means from the first equation, first variable left hand side, from the second equation, second variable left hand side, from the third equation, third variable left hand side, this will be your formula or scheme of the iteration. Okay. Now in this formula, okay, up to this much clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is partial pivoting? That is actually what I told you. If this rearrangement, after doing the rearrangement, these type of things satisfied, then you just do this. That process is known as the partial pivoting. And that is why I have written here, if partial pivoting is satisfying or possible, you just do it. Then you just use this technique. Okay. Now that formula scheme, suppose you have rearranged, these are in array format in the program, variables. So can you tell me that formula, simply this 3-line formula I have written in the loop here, you just see here. Within a for loop, I equals to 0, I less than 50, I plus plus. Means 50 times iteration I am doing anyhow. Okay. Now, initial solution for 3 variables, x1, xyz or x1, x2, x3, you are considering 0, 0, 0 is the initial solution. That is manually you will consider, or sometimes in the question it will be provided to you that you just consider initial solution. Suppose 1, 2, 3 like that, anything. If it is not given to you, by default you just consider initial solution of the variables 0, 0, 0. Okay. So if I will consider I0 right hand side, so its initial value is x2 0, x3 0. You will use here from the initial condition. What is you have considered? You can able to calculate left hand side x1. Isn't it? That x11 means that is the first iterated value of x. To get x2 first iterated value, what you will do in the same formula, you will use second formula, and that time x2 already updated in previous line. So that updated value will be used here, and that is why x1 I plus 1, and this is the x1, and this is the x3. This is the x3 is the okay, but x3 variable is not updated, so I will use x3 initial value, and I will get x2 1. And in third line, to calculate x3 1, x1 and x2 already updated, and that updated value you will use in the right hand side. You will get left hand side x3 1. This x1 1, x2 1, x3 1, this calculation is known as the first iteration. Okay, so in this process, within the iteration, whatever the updated value you are getting, that may be within the iteration, immediately it should be used in the next calculation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, up to this much, you just, since x0, x10, x20, x3, by considering x10, x20, x30, you are calculating x1, x2, x3, 1, 1, 1, means that is the first iterated value. After getting first iterated value, again you just use in the right hand side, you will get x2 2, x1 2, x2 2, x3 2, second iterated value. In this way, step by step, all the iterations will keep continuing. Okay, and how long you have to perform this iteration? That iteration will be performed on the basis of question. Suppose you have to write the answer up to 2 decimal place. So in 2, within the loop, you just put this condition in 2 consecutive iteration. Suppose 2x values, iterated value is less than 10 to the power minus 2, means up to 2 decimal match. In 2 consecutive iteration, second variable differences, absolute difference, less than 10 to the power minus 2, means up to 2 decimal match in 2 consecutive iteration in second variable also, as well as in third variable also, up to 2 decimal match. You will stop your iteration and you just break the loop and print the solution x, y, z, or x1, x2, x3. This is the laborious way of doing the program, but you just try to understand what is the algorithm or understanding of these techniques I am telling you. You just understand this. Okay. If still in understanding there is any problem, you may ask. We are going to consider some numerical examples such that it will be clear to you. Before that, you just tell me, is it clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So many of you students are in hostel, I think.
Yes, sir.
How many you are present in the hostel or institute? So every students in your batch, you came here?
No, sir. Some of them are.
Still coming?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think from next week and on, you just try to do your all the classes offline mode. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that programming part I am not telling you too much, but this program is related to algorithm of these techniques or nothing else. Let me consider one numerical example here. Okay. If I write one equation, actually in same example I am 3 by 3 equations I am considering. Suppose you do have equations. 2x minus y plus 10z equals to 30. So 20x plus 2y plus z equals to 30 and x minus 40y plus 3z equals to minus 75. If I will ask you to solve this system and tell me the answer of x, y, z with the help of Gauss-Seidel iteration method, then what you will do first? First, you will check this system. Actually, whatever the theory till now we have discussed, that is we are going to verify for this example.
Yes.
Okay, so is this system is satisfying condition of convergence if I will use Gauss-Seidel iteration method? Is this system is satisfying the condition of convergence of the Gauss-Seidel method? What is the pivot element in this system? This is 2.
2, sir. 2, sir.
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
And 3.
Tell me, 2 is greater than equals to 1 plus 10?
No.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No. So obviously it is violating. For 3 equations,
Yes.
it should be satisfied. So it is violating. So if I will use the Gauss-Seidel method, maybe I will get the solution or may not. Okay. Means sufficient condition is not satisfied. And that condition I am telling you not necessary. So what I will do, I will see and watch that rearrangement is possible to satisfy that conditions. That rearrangement is possible. So I am transforming this equation by writing, actually you just see this. I am writing this is first equation, this is second equation, this is third equation. Okay. So this is the first equation. So 20x plus 2y plus z equals to 30. And this is the second equation. So x minus 40y plus 3z equals to minus 75. And this is the third equation. 2x plus minus y plus 10z equals to again 30. So whatever the solution of this system, solution means it will satisfy simultaneously all 3 equations. So whatever the solution I will get, that solution is the same solution of this system also. Means system is equivalent. System is equivalent. After doing some elementary row operation, I will transfer the coefficient matrix or augmented matrix in this form. So these two systems are equivalent. So whatever the solution of this system you will have, same solution you will get for this system also. So to solve this system, I may solve this system also. Okay. Now you just see and watch in this system, this sufficient condition is satisfied. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In this system, first variable coefficient 20, second variable coefficient 40, in second equation, in third equation, third variable coefficient is 10. And in these 3 equations, these conditions is satisfied. You just see and watch what I told you. These are satisfied. Among them, one should be strict. But here you just see every inequalities are strict. Every inequality is strict. 20 is strictly greater than 1, 2 plus 1. 40 is strictly greater than 1 and 3. 1 plus 3. And 10 is strictly greater than 2 plus 1. All numerical value you have to consider. One inequality should be strict. Here all 3 are strict, so no problem. Sufficient condition is satisfied, greater than equals to satisfied. And this process of doing this is known as the partial pivoting. Partial pivoting means nothing but it is the rearrangement to satisfy the sufficient condition. Partial pivoting. Okay. Now, from the first equation, you just try to build first variable. What will be the first variable? bring all the term right hand side. What will be this looks like? Its coefficient divide 1 by 20, whatever the b1 right hand side 30 minus 2y minus z, isn't it? From the second equation, second variable, you just try to write. What will be the second variable? 1 by 40
minus
Bolo?
75.
It will be
Minus
plus
75.
75. This is the minus. So if I am bringing this is right hand side, this is left hand side, all terms are positive. Okay, you just see and watch. 70 plus x plus 3z. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
And from the last equation, z will be, last variable means z will be 1 by 10 30 minus 2x plus y. Okay, this is actually you have to use in the program. Okay. And initial condition, suppose x, y, z, this initial solution will be given to you, or if it is not given to you, I told you by default you just consider initial value 0, 0, 0. Okay. Suppose it is given to you, suppose x0 is given to you, y0 is given to you, z0 is given to you, and x0 is suppose 1.5, y0 is 2, and z0 is suppose 3. Obviously, this solution is not satisfy all three equations. Among at least one equation is also not satisfying, but you are thinking this is the closure looks like, or you may consider 0, 0, 0. In the question, it is given to you this. So this is not exact solution. With the help of this solution, you have to update, and you will get a better approximate solution or nearby solution, such that it will satisfy simultaneously all three equations. Means that is the solution of this system up to desired degree of accuracy. Means on the basis of question, suppose it is asking you write down the answer up to 2 decimal place. Means in 2 consecutive iteration it will match up to 2 decimal. Is it clear? Now how the iterations are coming,
Yes.
that is I am telling you. Okay. Tell me, if I will to get x1, I am using here the loop. Simply you just try to understand. I equals to 0. I am doing lots of iterations. Suppose I less than 50 means 49 times I will calculate right hand side. Left hand side it will create the 50 iterated value for all the variables. And I plus plus suppose. And I am, if I do here I and here I, can I able to calculate I plus 1? Is it okay? So I0 means 1 by 20, 30 minus 2y0 minus z0. And y0 and z0 is given to you 2 and 3. Can you able to calculate left hand side x1? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Immediately calculate yi plus 1 means y1 using whatever the initial value you need, you just take, consider. But here one important thing you have to remember, whatever in the previous calculation or updated variable you will get, if it is used in the next calculation, that updated value you should use. So x already updated, so I will not use x0 value here. I will use x updated value, xi plus 1. But z is still not updated, so I will use z initial value, so zi to calculate yi plus 1 means y1. So see, to calculate y1 you need x1 because already calculated in previous calculation. So x is already updated, so you use here x updated value, but z is not updated, so you use z initial value. So you will get left hand side y1. And to calculate zi plus 1, you just see x is updated already in the previous calculation, y is also updated in previous calculation here, and x updated here. So I will not use x and y initial value. I will use updated value to calculate z1. So it is will be I plus 1. This will be I plus 1. In this process, I will complete this step by step. Suppose left hand side x1, y1, z1 is the first iterated value. After getting all updated value, again you just use within the loop right hand side, you will get x2, y2, z2, that will be the second iterated value. After getting all that value, use in right hand side, you will get x3, y3, z3, that will be the, for all variables, same subscript, means that much iteration. x3, y3, z3 means third iteration. But within the iteration, whatever the value is updating, that should be used immediately in the next calculation. That may be within the iteration, that doesn't matter. Immediately updated value should be used in the next calculation. That is the process. Okay. Now, how will you stop? Suppose write down the answer up to 2 decimal place. On that basis, you just try to do numerically. So what will be the first? If you will do theory exam, obviously if you are going to perform the theory exam in end semester, offline mode, suppose, you will get the long lengthy answer. So I think this type of problem you will get. Okay. So how we will calculate the first iteration? With the help of calculator, quickly you just tell me the answer. Suppose x1 you are going to perform 1 by 20, and initially x0, y0, z0, what is we have considered. On that basis, you just consider the value. If it is not given to you, you will consider 0, 0, 0. That is again and again I am telling you. Okay. So what will be the x1? 30 minus 2y, what? I means 0 minus z0. Can you able to calculate with the help of calculator? What is the value? 30 minus 2y0 means 2 into 2 minus z0 is 3. Bolo, quickly tell me the values. What will be the y1 from this loop? Y1 means 1 by 40, 75 plus, what I will use here, you just tell me. 75 plus x, that is the formula. X,
Sir,
which value I will
1.15.
1.15. Okay, this formula is what I will do. This will be the x. Tell me, I will use x0 or x1 to calculate y1.
X1, sir.
Very good. X1. So because x1 already updated in this line, you just see x1 already updated. I will not use here x0, matlab initial, what is I have considered. Okay. x0 1.5, that is I am not using here. So I will use x1. So this is actually not using anywhere. After the calculation, you will see that. You may consider that is initial value, but it will not be used anywhere within the program. Okay, x1 plus 3z. 3z, tell me, z0 or z1? Z0. Z is not updated, so z0. So that value will be your y1. 1 by 40, 75 plus x1 means 1.15 and
2.1.
plus 3 into z0. Z0 you have considered 3. So that is 3.
2.1.
9, 20, 84, 45.15 by 40.
2.14. If answer is trying to ask you write down the answer up to 2 decimal place, try to write up to 3rd decimal place. Okay.
It is coming 2.12.
2.14 somebody told. Nicely, you just do calculate. Okay. And if you will change, we will change. Okay. Let's see what will be the Z1. And all three are your first iteration. To calculate Z1 within the iteration, you just see X, you need X and Y, but X, Y is updated in previous line. So you will use the updated value. To calculate Z1, you need X updated value means I will use X1 plus Y1. It will be 1 by 10, 30 minus 2 into X1 1.15 plus Y1. Y1 is 2.14 like that. Okay. What is this value? Just tell me.
The 2.98.
Or decimal or 1 decimal place, at least you just tell me. Because I have to bind up or round up or anyhow, I have to write 2 decimal place in the question. So try to write 3 decimal places at least in every iteration.
4.984.
Okay, so this is your first iteration is complete. So using x0, y0, z0, whatever, it was your previous idea, maybe you will guess or it will be given to you in the question. You may able to calculate x1, y1, z1. So tell me, now x1, y1, z1 is clear. Can you able to calculate x2, y2, z2? Because loop idea you do have. So I equals to 1 right hand side, you will get left hand side x2, y2, z2. I1 is clear. x1, y1, z1 is clear now. And same recurrence formula you have to use to calculate that. Second iteration. Tell me, x2 will be 1 by 20, same formula. Means that will be the recurrence relation y1 minus z1. And y2 will be 1 by 20, 75 plus, you just see, x1 is already, x is already updated in previous line in second iteration. So I will not use x1, I will use x2. But last updated value of z, 3z means last 3z, last updated value is z1 means last iterated value, but in this iteration not updated. So last updated value is z1, so I will use z1. And to calculate z2, I will use minus 2x1 plus y1. So I will use 2. X is already updated, so previous line updated value, and y is already updated here, so I will use y2. Are you getting this process? So Gauss-Seidel iteration method is that method, step by step in iteration, whatever the calculation you are doing, that updated value will be used in immediately next calculation. Okay, whatever the updated value you will get, whenever it will be used in the next calculation, that updated value will be used. So to calculate Z2, you are seeing that in first iteration Z1 was this, X1, Y1 was this, but to calculate Z2 you need X and Y, but X and Y within the second iteration already updated. So that updated value X2 and Y2 I will use to calculate Z2. Same type of things we have done here also in first iteration. To calculate Z1, first iterated value of X1 and first iterated value of Y1 already used. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Tell me these values. Have you calculated this X2? Put this value Y1, Z1 is clear from the previous iteration. This is Y1, this is Z1. Quickly tell me.
Yes, sir.
1 by 20.
The first is 1.13.
2.y1 was there, 1.2.144 minus Z1 is 2.984. In that way, from the previous iteration, you will get
1.13, sir.
1.13.
Yes, sir. 1.13.
और डेसिमल प्लेस है कि नहीं? और एक
Yes, sir.
डेसिमल बताओ.
1.1364.
Okay, I need to write 2 decimals, so I am trying to write every places up to 3 decimal. Okay. So Y2 will be
4.254.
Y2 is 2.144. So that not too much differ. Okay, it will be 2 point something. You just try to calculate nicely. 1 by 20, 75 plus X2. X2 is what is you have calculated, that value you have to use here. 1.136.
Sir, what is Y2?
Y2 I am trying to asking him. Okay, X2 updated value is this. That is I am using here.
Yes.
And that is I am writing plus 3 Z1. Z1 is first updated value means 2984. That is
Coming 4.254.
which
This only Y2.
still you are doing, I think, wrong calculation.
75 plus 1.136 plus 3.
Plus 3 into 2984. Divide not 20. Actually, I think this is 40. We are doing wrong. Actually.
Oh yes, sir. That's why I think.
Otherwise, it will.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to.
540 it is coming
You have,
2.172.
you have to watch along with the previous iterated value. This Y2 will not too much differ. If it will differ, because sufficient condition is satisfied. After that, you are using this method. Means it will. You will get obviously the matching result step by steps. So after 2 point something, I don't think it will much difference will be appear. So in that way, you may check. Maybe you are doing wrong things. That verification. So this is basically 40. So that type of mismatch calculation you should not do. Now tell me. 2 point.
So 2.12.
127. Okay.
So 2.1272.
Okay. And Z2 you just tell me. 1 by 10. 30 minus 2 X2 is clear from here. Y2 is clear from here.
2.985.
2.985. Can you able to do after getting all three? These are the second iteration value. Can you able to calculate third iteration? I think we can able
Yes,
to
sir,
get
got it.
nearby root. To get the 4-5 marks, up to that much you have to do actually step by step nicely the iterations, and you may have to solve a system. And obviously for theory question I will get maximum 3 by 3. 4 by 4, 5 by 5 equation will be provided to you, write the program. But for theory exam purpose, maximum 3 by 3 equation will be given to you. And logic of discussion is applicable for n number of equations. Means 4 by 4 equation is there. That times also same logic is implemented. 4 variable you just write and left hand side and bring all the terms right hand side, establish that recurrence relation and step by step do the iterations. Okay, tell me x3 will be 1 by 2, 30 to y2 minus z2. x3 then sometimes in the question we will get these variables x1, x2, x3 in that way. Okay, here it is x, y, z. So in x, y, z I am incrementing the subscripts for the iterations.
Sir, x3 is 1.138.
1.138.
Yes.
75. And tell me here x3 already updated, so I will use here x3. So x3 plus 3 z2 previous iterated value. Okay, z is not updated in previous time, so previous iterated value, and z3 will be 1 by 10, 30 minus 2. X and y is already updated, so x3 I will use and I will use y3, and these values also you just tell me. Two 2.12 like that it will come out. I think 2. It is looks like 98 will come. Again, next decimal also you just tell me this for these places. And why I am writing these things? Do you have any idea? Without doing the calculation, it will be looks like 2.12. It will be looks like 2.98. Why I am writing this? Can you able to tell?
It giving approximate value.
Obviously, actually you just see. In this iteration, it is second iteration x2 was 1.136. 127, okay. And this is also one decimal. Next decimal, you just tell me.
Yes, sir.
Two point nine
2.98851. 5, sir.
8, 5. Again 5. So again after that also you do have value. After that also you do have value. No problem. So anyhow, you just see in two consecutive iteration means second iteration in third iteration you just see in x values x2 and x3 you are seeing up to 2 decimal match 1.13, 1.13, isn't it? In two consecutive
Yes,
y values means y2 and y3 you just see up to 2 decimal match. And in third for third value in two consecutive iteration also for z2 and z3 you are seeing 2 decimal match. So you may write approximate answer approximately 1.13 for x, for y will be 2.12 and for z will be 2.98. Tell me, in two consecutive iteration, if I will subtract x2 and x3, if I will subtract this value and this value, its absolute amount what it will be?
Sir, 0.002.
So after point 20 will be there, isn't it?
Yes,
After
sir.
point
Yes, sir.
20 will be. In two consecutive iteration, this y value if I will check or subtract after point 20 will be there at least. So in z also that condition is satisfied. That is why in the loop that things I have written. You just see and watch. I am doing here maximum iteration, no problem. But that loop will be break, the condition is satisfied. This is the condition of the question. If two consecutive iteration x values are less than 10 to the power minus 2, means we are trying to approach towards the solution, what is asking in question. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So with the help of this loop, step by step all iterated value you just calculated. And if in two consecutive iteration this 2x value or 2y value or 2z value is matched on the basis of question, It will be, suppose it is asking you write down the answer up to 4 decimal place. In 2 consecutive iteration, you will see and check 4 decimal place. That time it will be 4, 4, 4 like that. Okay. In that way, you just put the condition within the loop and then break the loop, and at the out you just write down the answer. Last iterated value is the solution. Method is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think you can able to write the program also from the system of equation by watching laboriously. You just build this recurrence relation. You may do compile this loop. You will get the solution. Otherwise, in the matrix way, you may take the input. You just try to do this process in matrix way. Again, your calculation will be so smartly. So that is also you may do. You just see and watch these techniques. I think there will be not too much problem now. Okay, your class is over today. In understanding, if you do have any query, you may ask.
So can you
your
please
class,
upload these notes?
these notes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
after okay, no problem. Till now it's clear, no? Little
Yes,
bit
yes,
in the next,
concept is clear.
little bit in the next class, I will tell you about the Gauss Jacobi iteration. Then your module 2 will be over. A little bit difference is there. After doing that, I will upload this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That Gauss
Okay, sir.
Jacobi iteration. After doing this, little bit discussion is there. Then I will upload this file. Okay. This file is for you. Okay, no problem. You will get this file. So your class is over now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We are ending the meeting. Okay.
Okay, sir.